Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So in this video we're going to be taking a look at Chronicles. So Chronicles is a pretty interesting game. It's from a company called Polarium, a South Korean company. They've actually been in the Ubisoft incubator for the last 6 months, maybe even longer than that, maybe even 12 months I think. And one of the interesting things that they are doing is basically they are kind of coming up with their own blockchain, and in their kind of platform solution, every game that launches using their platform basically runs its own blockchain. So you can see here, as we kind of fire this one up, we can see it says mining transactions. So you have the option when you fire up the game to be part of the kind of mining operation, and when you do that you actually mine some of the coins. They're called 9 Chronicle Gold. This is an early access version, so we can see here there's a bunch of stuff that's still in development. So the game is at a stage where people can kind of play and test it, and the stuff, the characters you build, the characters you develop in the game, and the stuff you get in the game now won't be rolled back. So this is the kind of the main net of the blockchain running behind this is kind of live. And everything you create, generate in the game, buy in the game will be locked to your account. But the game is still in development. So it's an idle game. So in a sense, kind of not much sort of happens. So it's a game that is really better suited to mobile, and there is a mobile version of this in development. But at the moment it's just on PC download. It does take a bit of time, so I've sped up some of these sequences. So this actually kind of takes a few minutes to kind of do this kind of syncing. So you can see I've just done a cut scene there, and this is how the character starts off. He's basically just got a little, he's not got any gear, got a stick, and basically you're just kind of, it's an idle game. There's no control. It's an automatic battler, so you're just basically testing your stats and your gear against the enemy, and as you finish levels, you kind of earn stuff, and then you use that in the game to gain materials and make better gear. I think there will be other things coming. As I say, the game's in development, so this is kind of fairly early on, but I kind of think it's interesting to just kind of show the initial levels of the game. So all the time, because this is running on its own blockchain, everything that's happening is on its own chain. You do have to go through, you have to kind of set up a wallet and do the usual things of writing down the private key, which is a 64 character string. I've sped this bit up again as well, but you can see everything's happening is mining, and obviously that's securing everything on the blockchain. There may be one issue with this sort of game when you're not running on a kind of a known blockchain, in the sense that there's some issues about security, I suppose. I mean, a game running on Ethereum, you couldn't do it all on chain, but if you had your NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain, then they're secured by the whole Ethereum network. In this case, I'm not really sure how many nodes there are. I'm not quite sure, how susceptible this blockchain is to 51% attacks, or whatever the whatever the particular vector would be for this blockchain. So just be aware of that. I wouldn't have put vast amounts of value into this game, but as I say, the more you play it, the more you do earn this gold. So the gold is the kind of currency in the game. You can buy gold with fiat currency, because obviously the gold is a cryptocurrency, so you can go and buy that with your credit card or other crypto, or you can, as you play the game, you'll just earn it. Obviously you'll earn it a lot slower than if you just go ahead and buy it. But probably at this point I would recommend people, if people aren't buying vast amounts of this token, and obviously it is kind of at the moment it's a utility token, so it is a token that you just use as a payment system in the game. You use it to there is a shop in the game. I don't get to it in this video, and when you start off, you have to get through certain levels and unlock things in the game. So we can see here, this is the kind of hub area, and there's a shop, and there's a kind of a blacksmith who does the crafting stuff. But you have to unlock some of these levels. So I've got some materials there, some speed up things, and some, I mean, they're not very useful at this point. But this is the screen where as you get gear, you equip it onto the character. Another kind of thing to point out, as this is an idle game, it's actually energy based. So every time you do a mission, whether you complete it or not, you use up some energy. So your energy, I think when it starts off 120, and most missions are 5 energy. So you basically get 24 missions before you kind of run out of energy. The energy refills every block, although it has this kind of mechanic where you kind of have you kind of see it. Well, you can see in the top right of the screen there is there's 2 energy systems. There's like an action point one and a sort of energy system, and you can refill from the other. One fills up as you as more blocks happen. So that's kind of how that works. As I say, this conceptually doesn't really work as a PC game. Obviously, you can just leave your PC game. You just leave it running. You don't do anything really until you want to go in and start messing around with gear and creating new gear, buying gear. You can also level up your gear. Typical sort of thing we'd expect in a RPG game. But other than that, you just leave the game going. You see this thing happening. It says reorg occurred. So there's I don't know quite how serious that is, but that's obviously with running any blockchains, then you're mining blocks all the time, and sometimes you have what they call orphan blocks where there's a kind of a fork, and it takes time to kind of reset consensus. I've not had any problems playing the game so far, but again, just to point out, this is kind of experimental software. Just be careful with sticking any value in there. It might all go away. So let me just see the character. He's got plenty of health, so you don't really. I've not really had any experiences of kind of getting defeated too much. You just kind of like scroll through. Here's the first boss. You do have also can buy kind of consumable items which kind of give you a boost. So they might give you like a health boost or a speed boost or something like that. So there is that element of kind of permanent gear, and also consumable things that you kind of basically craft them from the materials that you're collecting in the game. And I guess as you get further in the game, they will be more important to kind of defeat some of these bosses. We can see here the kind of it's a very Korean themed sort of game in terms of the artwork and sort of some of the kind of characters, I suppose, the kind of enemies you kind of come across. And this is all kind of quite typical from what we'd see in kind of Korean RPGs. Okay, so we've just unlocked the workshop now, which is where we can go and get some of this gear. So now we've got a recipe to create that sword. So we'll go in and talk to this chap, Debug. You can see we've got some experience as well. So it defaults, it always moves you to the next stage while you've got energy, or you can kind of click out to go and do something. So we've got this equipment, consumables and upgrade options. So obviously we've got the this sword recipe. So we just we've got the materials we need, and we've got the recipe, so we can just kind of click on that, and off he goes making that. Obviously it's blockchain game. This is something that's basically, this sword is being minted onto the blockchain, so it doesn't happen immediately. We can't speed it up. It's driven by the mining of the blocks underlying the blockchain. The more complex the equipment or whatever you're making, the longer it takes. So some of these, this one is pretty quick. Obviously it's the first one we make, but some of them quickly you have to wait 5-10 minutes. Imagine as you go on in the game, some of them you'll be waiting hours for these things to be crafted. So I mean, that's just kind of what you expect with a blockchain game. That's kind of one of the one of the downsides of using a blockchain game. So there we go. We've got this weapon now. That's come up. We get some rewards for doing that. So we have this kind of it's a free-to-play game. You don't need to spend any money to do it. You just need to download the PC client at the moment. There will be a mobile version coming. I imagine that'll be early in 2021. so that will, you know, be a better way to play it. So there we're just going to equip the sword, and obviously we can visually then see that, and our stats go up. So this is the it's how you recharge your action points. So you basically use up your action points and then you recharge them using the meter below that. Again, I've sped up this this transition. And now we can see we've got our sword. Doesn't really have a vast amount of impact. Obviously, it's kind of a our character is stronger, but obviously the enemies will then become stronger, so it's that kind of whole typical kind of grind mechanic that we are used to if you played any RPGs. Go, another quest over. Some more rewards. And yeah, so we can now see the world map. We can also see there's just different ways of looking at the quest system. You can kind of see there's a lot of different quests. So it's kind of interesting with this kind of idle game that they are gated by time, so and you can't really speed anything up. So because it's based on the blockchain, so actually interestingly for the developer, there's a kind of a fastest period of time anyone can get through the game because it's based on time of the blocks. But there we go. Thanks for watching. It's Blockchain Gaming World. Please do subscribe to the channel if you like blockchain games.